Greetings and welcome to Words About Games breakdown of EGX 2019 with Amy and Keith. One of us was at EGX 2018. This is the general introduction to all of the EGX videos that we're going to be putting out over the course of the next week. So if you watch all the videos, you'll see this like 10 times. Just I didn't want to get off track in the beginning, but hey, it's us. I was at EGX. Keith wasn't. I played a ton of games. Keith doesn't know anything about any of them because we haven't seen each other since I got back from London. So we're going to talk about them. All of them. It's separated into categories that make sense if you're at the show and probably make sense. I hope they make sense. If you weren't at the show, either way, thumbs up. I have 7 games of the show and I made this. So I'm going to be giving these out as we do the podcast. So keep an eye out for my 7 best games of EGX with the little hearts and stuff. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to future Keith and future Amy, who are going to be having lots of conversations about video games.
Over to you, future me.
So the last big thing I want to talk about before this starts being like a bunch of shorter things grouped off into sections. It's Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I was hoping I was going to be able to show it because I got a special wristband with my appointment time on it. Because it was a presentation, not a game. Like, I wasn't playing it. But unfortunately, it came off in the shower, so... I think it might... Yeah, it's gone. So it was like the last thing I did, almost. I went to the last one. Like, on the last day. Like, I purposefully was like, what's the last showing this time? And I was like, cool, I'll go to that one. Because, like, by that point, I will be ready to not be playing games and to just sit down and watch someone else play a game. But it was 45 minutes long, this demo that I was given. And because it was the last one, and apparently CD Projekt Red have got this... I've got this tradition where whenever they've been doing this stuff, like they take a photo of the crowd with everybody in it on the last show of the day. I was in that photo.
Indeed.
So my face appeared on the Cyberpunk 2077 official Twitter, which was nice. I was sat just behind Holly Bennett. He's the head of marketing communications for the company. So the demo was done. It was a developer actually sitting off to the side of the stage, like playing the game on the screen, projected onto a massive screen in a 200-seat air-conditioned theater. And on the stage, there was one of the lead artists was doing the whole talking through, like what was happening, stuff about the game as they were playing it. It was really, really in depth, and it was really cool, like to actually see. So it went through like social mechanics and interactions, like cutscenes and how they work, the character customization, how that works, the gameplay. Like they brought 2 different character builds that they'd programmed to specifically be able to switch between, so that like they could show off the stealth and hacking and like the more brute force character, and they switched between them a couple of times so you could sort of see the same mission or parts of the same mission from like 2 different like gameplay styles, which was quite cool. And yeah, there wasn't really much story stuff in there, although you did see Keanu Reeves every now and again making comments, which is quite fun because essentially Keanu Reeves' character Johnny Silverhand is like kind of haunting you as a digital ghost. So every now and again he'll just be in the background of a scene and just say something really sarcastic. I thought that was quite funny. Do you want to know anything about this? Because I could pretty much talk about a lot of it.
You could probably talk a lot about it. I just want to know, because when it comes to Cyberpunk, your hype level has gone up and down, up and down, up and down. So I want to know whereabouts you're currently standing with Cyberpunk.
Guarded optimism. Like, the reason my hype level's gone up and down and up and down isn't because of the game. The game's always looked great. It's because of the stuff surrounding it. Like this, we'll call them the oopsie doodles that CD Projekt Red have done over the past year. Which is why I've sort of like always been like, but I think it worked in my favor going into this demo because I haven't watched a lot of gameplay. I haven't watched a lot of videos or trailers or anything like that. Like, the Keanu Reeves thing happened at E3, and then I haven't done or seen anything about Cyberpunk until the weekend just gone. So I was going in quite fresh. Like, the game itself looks amazing. Like, really, really good, like, as an RPG. It's very much like it's very much an open world game, and whether I'll like be like, I'm having a bit of a problem with open world games at the moment, where they're all I'm kind of bouncing off quite a lot of them recently. So like, hopefully I'll be ready for it by the time it comes out. Because I don't think there's any big open world games coming out between now and May, which is when Cyberpunk comes out. None that I think of. Star Wars, sort of. But it's more hub worlds. Yeah.
Vania, isn't it?
It's like a Zelda-ish, Metroidvania-ish, Dark Souls-ish sort of game design all blended together. Yeah, and beyond that, I don't really think. But yeah, I mean, like, look, watching the two styles of gameplay, like, in the same section was really cool. The stealth and the hacking, which I saw first, and like, so you were on a mission that was given to you by a character who's the leader of one gang, and then he's like, another gang had taken up residence in this location, and he wanted to know why. He wanted to jack into their server or network or something to find all of their agents or whatever. Like, I don't know. It was a long 4 days. And so you saw the stealth approach, where it was like, it was a standard sort of stealth thing, and then the hacking mini game was you just moved some stuff around, like, and it was like almost like a word search, and there was like a y-axis and a z-axis thing, and you had to just match up 2 letters from each line together, and that, like, yeah, do that like 3 or 4 times, and that was how the hacking worked. And the sneaking was very much just literally crouch walking, running occasionally, like keeping out of sight. And then it switched over to the combat, and it was like, oh, you don't actually, like, to do the combat, I was thinking, oh, you're gonna have to go through all of this stuff but fight, and it's like, no, there's a door. If you have a high enough athletic skill, like, you just bust it open, and on the other side of that door is the place where you snuck all the way around to, like, with the van. So it's like, if you had that athletic skill, you literally just go right and go bang, and you're in the room. And then first person shooting combat, but it's an RPG, so there's numbers coming off, which still looks a bit weird to me, but there's plenty of other shooters that have done the whole health bar RPG thing in the past. Destiny. This game ain't nothing like Destiny, though. It has no multiplayer, so it's purely a story-based thing. Like, there's a bunch of story stuff that happened, but I don't want to get into it because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. Because I don't know if this is, I don't know if this is the gameplay from they released at PAX or not. Because I haven't watched the gameplay from PAX, so I don't want to spoil anything in case it wasn't. It looked really good, like top tier, AAA open world game, and the fact that the guys who make it made The Witcher 3, like, I mean, I love The Witcher 3. Yeah. And that world was actually populated with interesting things to see and do and interact with, like, everywhere. So, like, that's what I'm hopeful for as far as Cyberpunk goes. Yeah. Was there anything else you want to know about what I mentioned? I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Like, the customization options look quite deep. They were very quick to point out that the character customizer that we were looking at wasn't finalized. So I think they're going to add some more stuff to it or something. But yeah, I was impressed, or as much as I could be, from sitting and watching someone play the game as opposed to actually playing the game myself. And I normally I have a rule about giving out Game of the Show awards to games that I get to watch but don't get to play, and that I don't do it because I haven't played it.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first time, I'm going to break that rule because I'm giving Cyberpunk 2077 a Best Game of EGX award. even though I didn't play any of it. I feel like I watched someone play it for 45 minutes, and I was like, that's probably good enough for an impression.